Kawasaki paid significant attention to its Ninja 650 in 2017, resulting in a bike that looks better, that handles better, and that puts power to the ground better than its predecessor. The 649cc parallel twin got a lot of updates: a redesigned head, cylinder, cases, camshaft, updated throttle bodies, airbox. Kawasaki shortened the exhaust and took away the cross pipe on the headers, and the result is a really well-balanced engine. Fueling is fantastic, throttle response is instantaneous, and the pull and power on this thing are smooth and steady all the way to nearly redline at 10,000 RPM. And while it's not a super sport, it's plenty fast for regular road riding. I mean, you're touching triple digits at the top of fifth gear and you've got a whole other gear to go. And if you want to just cruise on the highway like a civilized person, you can stick this thing at 5,000 RPM and cruise at 65, no problem. Hardly any vibration in that area. It's a really smooth, comfortable ride. It's really a gentle kind of sport bike. And that's really great for new riders who are developing their skill but really want to have a bike that they can grow into. And it's also going to be good for experienced riders because you can take this thing up into the hills and ride this thing to, if not max, pretty darn close to its max potential and have a lot of fun. Another update for 2017 is a slip and assist clutch. Now the assist portion gives you a clutch lever pull that is light as a feather. 1-2 fingers at most you need to pull that in, engage the transmission, and the slip function just helps keep the back wheel stable if you're going to jam down the gearbox. Now the engine updates, along with the bodywork changes, a new high tensile steel trellis frame, and this gull arm swing arm have contributed to a weight savings of 42 pounds, which is incredible. Dropping so much weight results in a bike that feels incredibly light at the bars. Now, it's been a few years since I rode a Ninja 650, but one of the things that sticks out in my mind about that bike at the time was just how top heavy it felt. It was kind of bulbous. The tank felt like it was jutting into your stomach, almost into your chest. And it wasn't the friendliest motorcycle in the handling department, and all of that sensation is gone with the new Ninja 650. The seat is narrow. The new bodywork is slim and tight. I mean, it feels like your knees could almost touch together when you're in the riding position. The handlebars and foot pegs were moved forward just slightly and down slightly, and so you still have a sporty position, but it's not uncomfortable at all. And even with the ergonomic changes that Kawasaki made, you could still absolutely consider this as a sport touring mount. Kawasaki even includes a 3-position adjustable windscreen, though you are going to need some tools to make that happen. Kawasaki moved the horizontal back link suspension out back to the middle. It used to be asymmetrical out on the side, but more mass centralization now with it centered underneath the seat. And then non-adjustable 41mm fork. You know, the suspension's a little soft. You're going to need some aftermarket upgrades if you really want to tweak the settings, but it's not terrible on the road, especially for new novice riders, people that aren't going to be taxing this thing to the limit. If you're going to do any sort of track days or if you're going to really, wail in the mountains, you're probably going to want to find some solutions to the suspension setup. Kawasaki spruced up the braking package as well with some new Nissan calipers, and I got to say the front brake is pretty nice. You can feel engagement, that friction zone really early in the pull, and it's a soft bite, but you can modulate pressure really well. It gives you a really connected feel to the front end. The rear brake is adequate. It gets the job done. There's not a whole lot to say about that, but it works as advertised. Another element of the braking package is the Bosch 9.1 ABS unit that's updated for 2017 as well. Basically standard issue kit on most new bikes these days, and a feature that we really appreciate, when road conditions get questionable. Kawasaki updated the instrument cluster as well. You get a shift light now, and the tachometer needle changes color when you get up into that range, and that's in addition to all the standard issue information speedometer, fuel gauge, gear position indicator, temperature, trip meters, things like that. You'll notice also that Kawasaki updated the bodywork in the tank on the Ninja 650, and I gotta say, I think it's a really sharp look for this bike. Previously, it seemed to embody more of the sport touring aesthetic, and now it's gone back to more of a sport bike feel. And I think that's a good move on the part, because I personally like the look of a sport bike. I think they draw you in. I like the feel of one, but they're generally just so uncomfortable that I wouldn't consider one as a daily rider. You get sort of the best of both worlds with the new Ninja 650. It looks the part, but it's also got upright enough seating position and comfortable enough ergonomics to really consider as an everyday, all-around type of bike. Kawasaki really hit the nail on the head with the updates to the Ninja 650, in my opinion. This bike has broad appeal. It's got a pretty competitive price point. This is the KRT Edition with ABS, and it's just under $8,000. You want a standard issue one, and you're looking at closer to $7,000, a little over $7,000. And honestly, it's been a blast to ride. I have had a lot of fun on this bike, and I think you will too when you get a chance to take this one out for a spin.